Hi to everyone, welcome to the channel, and today I have a special guest, Mr. Tariq Al Bulushi. He's CEO and a founder of Spazers. It's a company which is specializing in organizing and launching space technologies and different programs on space education and also different communicational services. Welcome and nice to meet you, Mr. Tariq, and thank you so much for coming.
Likewise. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much. And my first question will be about your story, about coming to space technologies. What brought you to this field?
Oof. What brought me to this field? I think I was very curious to find out, what could we do if we go up, and how things actually look from the top. And you want to cope up with the trend in technology, especially if you are passionate about the technology and it's in your DNA. So you want to just do something different this time, And when I start thinking what I could do differently, I've done so many things in the past, yes, but I want to do something different now. And I think this, space thing was completely different, out of this world, really. And that made me think about start creating the idea of space in my head. Why not? Just let's go for it, Take the adventure. Life is full of adventure, right? In the end. So it started, and I got so curious. I read about it. And I know, by the way, I never really worked before in the space industry. Since I had this idea, I'm pure different industry, and the whole idea was kind of heavy to me. A lack of experience, a lack of knowledge as well. But again, you don't complicate things. It sounds really complicated when we talk about satellite, when we talk about space. It sounds complicated, but once you start believing in it, you say, "Oh no, it's doable." And why not? Others did it. Why I can't do it? So that's how we started. And yes, I go back to 2022, where the idea actually started. And I'm not old in the space industry, but I tried my best to be where the rest are today.
And actually, your company and your team established the first satellite technologies as a company in the whole Middle Eastern region. Which challenges did you face in this journey?
Just to rephrase your question, actually, we started in just one country, in one region. We started, and the first experience, of course, was a very terrible one. It blew up. The air, it could not make it. So we lost actually the first satellite, and that was a very painful experience to go through. Especially, you went through a lot to convince people to go and build one and launch it. Suddenly it just goes wrong, and you disappointed them, you disappointed yourself. But again, space is hard. Space is not meant to be easy, really. Space is hard. So you fail one time, you fail 9 times, go for it, don't stop. And this is the biggest challenge I personally, experienced. It was not the fear of failure, but it was the fear of giving up in the middle. That actually what made me, go for it and be ready that you're not gonna give up. You lost the first one, you still have chances. So we did it and launched and was successful. That moment was really a special moment. And then you are there, you are there actually. That's your own baby is up there. Then you feel like you're really connected to space now through this device. So that's actually the start of the whole thing.
My next question will be about our recent conversations that how the data from satellite imaging, they can even measure the level of pollution in the air, for example, in coastal areas. What else the data from satellite imaging can be measured based on the data we can get from these images?
I like your question. uh, see, as long as you have the data, you can serve different industries. And an example of taking an image of an area where there's sea, land, air. So imagine the massive data this image actually contains. And some of the data, of course, you could read, but some you need a powerful machine to help you to extract all this data and create something meaningful. What we can do with it, magic, that's the word I usually use, the magic. You really can do magic with it. I'm talking about air pollution, vegetation, mineral exploration. Imagine satellite would tell you how much gold you have, rather than going and digging. Sometimes you get disappointed if there's nothing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go happy if there is something. But if I save that, if I tell you, you know what, focus on this area, there's more gold than in this area. So I guide you basically. I give you enough input so you make the right decision. Talking about oil and gas, leakages, a lot of companies, they have huge, massive pipelines. And those pipelines, sometimes there are leakages, and that's challenging. But through the satellite, you actually could detect where the leakage is. And imagine that information reaches to you so fast.
Yeah.
And you're saving a lot. You're saving your operational cost, you're saving your revenue. So you just, reaction is much faster. If there's a problem, here's a solution, And talking about environmental related, we all now talking about methane, for example, gas, and the pollution around the world. Satellite from the top can check how clean is the air, what is the pollution in the air. Of course, in the coastal area, you can do a lot of monitoring as well. Fishermen, sometimes they go for fishing, they get lost in the middle of the ocean where there's no connection at all. So the satellite could help you actually detect where the ship is. Tourism, it's a very actually powerful input for planning the tourism, urban planning. For city development, you have different layers created by using a satellite image, and that gives you more insight. So there is no limit as such. There are satellites who are specialized in certain industries, but there are other satellites, as long as you have the image, then, of course, satellite is only 50%. There is another, monster, I would call, sitting in the middle, processing all this data. That's the AI, the power of the AI. Why I'm using satellite, for example? Why not I'm using drone, for an instance, If you want to go up, okay, still have drone. You could be a drone company, for example. No, I want to have more data. Having more data means you have a more powerful AI to process all this data. And it's really getting challenging. Imagine you have an hour to process all this data and create something. So it's a really powerful machine.
It's so interesting to learn about this power of data which is obtained from the satellite imaging, but also it's very interesting for me to learn, can this data measure or about the predictions of natural disasters?
It depends on other factors as well. But yes, it could play a role in it, yes. Especially on the, there are special satellites for the weather forecast. And they are very, actually on the top orbit. What we have actually three orbits: the low orbit, the mid, and the high. So more high you are, you have actually larger view. And those satellites could actually help to predict or play a role in projections of natural disasters.
As we have been touching the topics about AI and data, what do you think about the people who are now in the control of managing AI and data? How we can keep the balance between using the impact of AI and data and its ethical side? What do you think about it?
AI is very powerful. It's really, really powerful, and it all depends, how you use it. It could be used for good, or it could be used for bad. But if from coming from a technology background, this is something it eased actually our life. And we used to have an army of data scientists sitting and reading all this data, taking hours and hours until we used to get the report. And also the report was not accurate. It was far from being actually accurate sometimes.
Yeah.
So this is our life in a way that we are processing all this massive data faster. We're using it for something good. But of course there's the other side of it as well, Yeah. But again, it became an essential. Not an essential, it became a must. It became a must now. We are running factories, using AI, cars, everything, your devices, everything. So AI is like, I think we hear AI words, in one day, we hear it more than, I think, water or coffee, I think, I don't know, but it's becoming part of our daily life as well. AI assistants, for example, now you see this new generation.
Yeah.
Everyone has an assistant.
And also everyone is talking about creating AI agents for everything.
It could be, yes, it could be. I think if you go back to 90s, for example, I mean, AI was not just invented. It's been there since really, really, decades. But it got so powerful now. It got so powerful. And if you go back to the history, how it started and where it reached as of today, give it another couple of years, it will go even more powerful, If it goes out of hand, then really there will be a chaos, I think.
And also it's very interesting debates that are happening in media, that especially after creating Ghibli style images by ChatGPT, that whether our AI is stealing our creativity skills. So when we can delegate some routine work for AI in order to simplify our tasks, in order to simplify our projects. But at the same time, they're raising a lot of questions about our creativity skills that could be stealed by AI. What do you think about it?
See, I mean, I used to watch a lot of movies back in the 90s. I'm still watching, but I used to, like those sci-fi movies a lot. And some of the movies were about actually the robots, the AI. And there was always this debate, that I'm a human being, I have feelings, and you are just a robot, you have no feelings, right? So, but what's happening today now? We are sharing actually our own feelings to this machine, and this machine is learning how we are feeling. So now, when it comes to, for example, emotions, the machine is able to answer you because the machine was able to process your data and got to know, you are depressed, or you are happy, or you are sad. This indicates to this, and so we are actually, transmitting our own feelings to a machine. And this is what I mean, if it really goes, out of hands, then we're gonna lose basic human being touch.
And also, it's so interesting to get your points also about this question, about the people who are responsible about results of AI usage. Recently, I read the news about measurement of AI tools by police system, whether they are measuring the risks of domestic violence. And one woman, she approached the police that she is becoming a victim of domestic violence. I think it was in Spain or in some another European country. And the police systems, they have special AI tools in order to measure the risks, medium, high risks, or low-level risks. And according to the forecasts of this AI tool, they measured it as a medium risk, and they advised for this woman to wait for 30 days. But she couldn't wait, she just lost her life. And a lot of people, they started to raise their concerns about the results, or, bringing so much responsibility only on AI. What do you think? In this case, who is responsible about the results?
I think we have to set a demarcation here between, our own capabilities versus machine capabilities. When we are in a situation, we have our logical thinking and we have our emotions are connected, and then we just get out from that situation in the best way, less damage, I would say. But those factors are missing, when the machine is analyzing all this. There are lots of factors are missing. That's why sometimes you end up in a wrong decision, wrong result. So I think we should not be really relying, on AI for things where I think the involvement of another human being is very, very important to process and analyze the situation. So we have to be careful where to use it, where not to use it. But still, that doesn't mean it's bad. I could use it as a second source of, data to just back up my decision. Whatever I'm going to decide, I need another source of, of information. Then I could. But in some situations, I think we should not be relying on. We have to make our own decisions. In some, we could combine these two, and it will make it more powerful, actually. And in some situation, yes, we can 100% rely on AI decision.
What do you think? How is space tourism sustainable?
It just started, I believe. It just started, and recently we, heard on the news about this trip. But I think sooner or later people are so curious now. Really, traveling is like in everyone's DNA. We want to travel, we want to explore a new place, right? So imagine now you have given a new space, or I've given a new place to discover, and that is actually space. So, and sooner or later it will be also affordable. And so I think people could actually afford traveling to space. It's a trend. It's a trend, and I think it's going to happen. It will be commercialized.
While I was researching about your company, I saw that your company is also specializing on organizing space education programs. What do you think? What should be included in fundamentals of those programs?
I would give it to all different ages. Give everyone, the interest. I would not be even excluding the kids. It's a very good program for the kids. And those actually kids someday will be the future engineers, the future architects, designers, and it's important to teach them while they're young. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna ignore the rest. No, there is education is something we do for our entire life. There is no age where the education ends. We can keep educating ourselves, and this is a very fast-moving industry, and leaving a knowledge to next and passing this knowledge to next generation. This is something I'm dreaming of.
For example, when we are talking about fundamentals of, for example, programming courses or educational programs, we are including thinking about algorithms, about mathematics, or different other sciences that are very much connected between each other. What's about the fundamentals of space educational programs? What we should include in the basics of those educational programs?
Whatever you mentioned actually are essential already in a space program, physics, math. But again, I think qualification plays one role here. But again, you have also should have the desire to go for it. I'm an example. I had really no any major in space domain, but it's a self-education, and I believe in self-education. There's no limit. There is no limit. So just educate, and sometimes it's not necessary what we study apply. That's not the case all the time. But yes, those you mentioned are very important. And again, the whole ecosystem. If you want to have the full ecosystem of space, from the upstream, the satellite, all the way down to the ground, you need scientists, you need designers, you need programmers, mechanical engineers, even engineers, electrical engineers. So it's up. Everybody has a chance when it comes to this full ecosystem of space. That's a beauty. It unifies people.
What do you think? What can be the last point of the development of the sphere that cannot be even visible in our generation?
Oh, I think we need to find an alternative for the images. Once we find the alternative, solution, or not solution, technology, I would say, is already a solution for us today. But if we find an alternative, I think next would be, having a live camera. Even if you are on a lower orbit, you would be having a live camera. You can monitor, in live stream using satellites. And where we are today, Starlink, for example, they're connecting the entire world through satellite. So you don't need to have any more, the cables. Everything is connected with the satellite. Communication around the globe, wherever you are, there is a coverage. And I think it's easier to cover the Earth, with the satellite, rather than laying down all these expensive cables. But where we're gonna end, I don't know really. The trend is so fast, it's unbelievable really. Every day you wake up and you hear something new. The last update, or the news and the industrial discovery of oil. Imagine, you don't need to really lay all these expensive, pipes and rigs and send people down to check for the oil. No, this device actually can tell you if there is oil or not. And also now we could also connect the satellite with other technologies as well, complement each other, like drones, for example, cameras as well. Imagine if you have an eye on an object, a moving object, wherever it goes, you have an eye on it, That's powerful.
And it's interesting to learn from you. For now, how many countries in the world have their own satellites?
Well, there are a lot. There are a lot of countries, yes.
And for example, based on your observations, the countries who they have their own satellite technologies and the countries they cannot afford to have these technologies, what are the main differences between those countries in terms of maybe development, maybe in terms of access to data? What do you think about it?
If you asked me this question 10 years ago, or maybe a little bit more, I would say yes, it's difficult for some countries, and it's not difficult for some, because back then it was actually expensive to afford. The mission to space was not easy. Building a satellite was very expensive, and not only just the money part, but also the knowledge. It was very difficult to reach or to have access, to the knowledge. Okay, I'm gonna build one, I'm gonna do one, but what I'm gonna do with it, So if you are not sure, if you are unsure about what the purpose of the entire thing, then you will not do it. So knowledge was also a challenge back then. And a lot of countries could not afford it. But thanks to the nanotechnology, satellites, when we used to talk about satellites back in 90s, we were thinking about those massive, big satellites, right? Nowadays, nano satellites, 1 kg satellite, it's affordable, it does the job, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, and actually, I'm so happy that so many countries they have these opportunities
Yes.
thanks to nanotechnologies. They have these opportunities, and also it's very interesting for me to know about your philosophy of managing your company as a CEO. What is your philosophy in running your company, in running your team in such high technological field?
Oh, the name itself is that it indicates that we are not from this world. We are out of from this world. So it's, you know, when we say think out of the box, right? No, there's no box. There's a whole space. Think out of the space, you know. bring new technologies, bring new ideas. Don't limit your thinking. Really, there's no limit. There's no limit. And tomorrow, I think we'll be storing our Instagram post or Snapchat images in the satellite. So it will become that your data storage. So it's moving. It's moving. It's moving so fast. Move with them. Move with them. Implement crazy ideas. Do crazy ideas. Don't limit yourself. Go for it. Fail 1 time, fail 10 times, no problem, but eventually get up. Don't just keep failing.
And how do you maintain your mental health?
How do I maintain my mental health? Yeah, there's a nice say. I mean, healthy brain and healthy body, right? So I think you have to first create that environment where you are actually, we are happy, you're mentally happy, you are enjoying. I think it's important you really enjoy what you're doing. You know, it's once you enjoy what you're doing and you start loving everything about it, you feel like you are in a very healthy environment. And the passion, that's the thing, you know, you have the passion.
As an entrepreneur, I think it will be very interesting to learn from you about your first sales or investments. How did you get them?
Of course, I was having this conversation like an hour ago. I think the first one would be so special. The first would be so special. That's like, you know, it breaks the ice and it opens the door. And can't wait for this moment. And yes, celebrate it. It's a special one, and hopefully it will lead to more.
And as you are already leading the future with the technologies, you know what awaits us maybe in near 5 or 10 years. What do you think? How should we raise our kids?
Oh, prepare them for the future. Prepare them for the future. It's really important. The gap must be, you know, quickly filled between what is out there, you know, as in technology, and where they are with the knowledge today. And that's actually, you know, very challenging for the parents as well. Nowadays, we prefer to go or take our kids to a school where they are actually advanced, rather than, you know, a school where they still have the traditional way of teaching. We prefer this because this is where the future is heading to, you know, this is where the trend is today. So it's important really to keep them up to date, but keep monitoring them, of course, but prepare them for the future. It's really important.
And also, just imagine your satellite technologies, they are discovered by future civilizations or aliens, doesn't matter. Which message would you like to send them about the Earth?
About the Earth, wow, I think everything started from here. Where we are today in the space, and doesn't matter really how far we go, it originated from here. So this is where actually our ideas being originated to get there. This is where the passion was created to go and do it. So I think it's a source of everything, really. Earth is a source of everything. It's a fountain. It's a large fountain. You can find everything here. And when you connect them, you get where you want to go.
And while listening to you, I observed that people who are working in space technologies, they should definitely develop system thinking to connect different sciences, different perspectives with each other in order to see in a holistical way different problems. What do you think, how we can develop system thinking mindset?
System thinking mindset. Again, it's actually a joint of two big things. It's the technology and the science. Yes, bring them together, make them work together. They must coexist, and then that's why we create something. We hear something, okay, we hear about one scientist telling us a story about something, but we get so curious. All right, let me develop. Whoever imagined one day will be launching a rocket to space, and this rocket comes back to Earth. A scientist came up with this idea, and the other technology guy said, I'm going to do it, So they feed us, actually. They feed us with the ideas. And those ideas are very important for technology people to implement. So I think that's the, coexistence of these two are really important.
Just imagine you have now $1 billion of investment. What do you think, what you would create immediately with these resources in terms of innovative technologies?
I will create a whole academy of space where teaching people how to build, how to design, how to launch, how to operate. I'll be building something for the future. Not buying satellites, no, I would rather build a satellite. I'm gonna invest all this money in knowledge. Knowledge is the power. If you have the knowledge, you can do the rest. So that 1 billion will be fully invested in creating this knowledge.
What do you think, what will be the main legacy of Spazers that you would like to be remembered 100 years from now?
This knowledge, which I'm going to leave and pass, yes. I wouldn't be able to be here today if I were not with the people who have the same passion as I have, really. I could tell that they have also the same passion. They want to make it happen. They want to go above and beyond. They're really keen. And this reminds me of myself when I started. And I think being in the right place, being with the right people, it's very, very important to achieve your dream. And I'm thankful, I'm happy, and if this is going to work, it's going to be something remarkable. We're all going to be talking about it in future. If it's not going to work, we tried. We tried. And since space has no limit, Earth has no also limit. It could go elsewhere and discover. There must be someone who really believes in your idea. I did not do something magical, but what I did, I connected things together. Entering in a space domain very late is not easy. And I entered very late. But you learn the game, you connect things together, and sometimes you are even ahead of those who
Who before?
Who started before.
Wow.
Yes, it just knowing how to bring things together and creating something powerful out of it. That was my story actually here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tariq. It was such a great pleasure to have this meaningful conversation with you. And thanks to people like you and your team, we are developing so much as communities. We are developing science and technologies. We can predict a lot of negative things thanks to data we can obtain thanks to the technologies you are creating with your teams. And I'm very grateful to you for everything that you are doing, and I wish you good luck in everything. Thank you.